Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome to the course of Art of Leadership and Motivation, HRM760. Today is lecture number 24 and I am your facilitator, Professor Dr. Muhammad Majid Mahmood. Now we are going to talk about developing performance-driven organizations. Now, whenever we talk about Art of Leadership and Motivation, what is the purpose? What is the purpose of leaders? What is the purpose of motivation? What we really want to do with the help of leaders, with the help of motivators? Of course, we want to develop performance-driven organizations. So that is the topic of discussion today. Now, in order to develop performance-driven organizations, solution is HRD. HRD stands for Human Resource Development. Now, human resource development is the integrated use of training and development, organization development, and career management to improve individual, group, and organizational effectiveness. And this definition given by McLagan, 1989. Now, when you look at this definition of human resource development, it is about three functions of HRD: training and development, organization development, and career management. And what is the purpose of using these three functions of HRD? Those purposes are to improve individual effectiveness, group effectiveness, and organizational effectiveness. So it means that in human resource development, we are talking about enhancing the efficiency and effectiveness of individual employees, the group of employees, and the overall organization effectiveness. Now, effectiveness means what? Effectiveness means that we are trying to achieve our targets. We are talking about the output. We are talking about the results. How an organization works, what comes in your mind? Input, process, output. So these are the three things: input, process, output. And effectiveness is called the output, the results. Now, what do you input in an organization? Of course, you input the resources: human resource, financial resource, physical resource, and information resource. You also use managerial functions of planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Now, what do we mean by human resource? Human resource means all the persons who are working for the organization at any level. They are called the human resource. Financial resource, the money, the capital. Physical resource means land, building, equipment. And information resource means like internet, newspaper, magazines, TV, radio, your observation, etc. So these are the 4 types of resources: human resource, financial resource, physical resource, and information resource. So you put in all these 4 resources, and then you use your managerial functions like planning. Now planning means developing goals and objectives, and then developing strategies to achieve those goals and objectives. Now this is really very important for any organization, that they need to focus more on their planning. Because if there is something wrong with the goals and objectives, if there is something wrong with the strategies to achieve those goals and objectives, of course, organization will face problems during the entire process. Then after planning, the second managerial function we use is called organizing. Now, organizing means what? Organizing means the organizational relationship, the organogram, the organizational structure of an organization. Like for example, in any university, if we talk about its organogram, who is on the top? In case of Federal University in Islamabad, the head of the university is called the Chancellor. And in case of Federal University, the Chancellor is the President of Pakistan. Then the second position is with the Pro-Chancellor, who is the Education Minister. Then after Education Minister, we have the Vice Chancellor, who sits in the university and who is the Chairman of Executive Council. An Executive Council of an organization, and in this case of a university, it is like a board of directors. Now the members in Executive Council are the representatives from Higher Education Commission, Education Ministry, then of course Judiciary, some other universities, and major organizations, major national organizations, representatives, and of course most competent senior persons from the university are representing in that Executive Council. Now that Executive Council makes decisions for the university, and Vice Chancellor is the Chairman of that Executive Council. Then in the university, 2 major wings are there. One is called administration, the other is called academics. In administration, we have the registrar, and then of course under the registrar we have their supporting staff, and then we have the deputy registrars, additional registrars, and things like that, and then we have the supporting staff. On the other side, academic side, we have the deans. We have different, if one organization, one university may have 2 or 3 faculties, so every faculty has one dean. So there are different departments in a university. So all those departments are categorized into different faculties, and each faculty is represented by a dean. On the other side, in administration, we have the registrar department, we have the admission office, we have the mailing office, we have the exam office, we have the treasurer, we have the project directorate, etc. So this is the organogram of a university in Pakistan in most cases. So when we talk about the performance of an organization, we talk about organizing. So इस organogram में who reports to whom, who is to do what, how to do. So these are the things you decide. The most competent authority decides these things, and then organizing function works. Then the third managerial function is called leading. Now leading means persons who take the initiative. A motivator, a coach, a guide, a counselor, a mentor, a facilitator. So these are the different names for that leader. So he or she really encourages you, really motivates you. So if you are unable to do anything, or you are confused, or you have any problems you are facing, any hurdles you are facing, a leader is always there for your facilitation. And finally, the fourth managerial function is called controlling. Now controlling means monitoring and evaluation. Like for instance, if somebody is deviating from the path, so what happens? The controller side of an organization, like in a university, in most cases the administration side, they take corrective measures. They then manage the situation. They then control the situation. And then we move towards the output. That is called the result side. So if you are able to achieve your targets, it means that you are effective. And if you are unable to achieve your targets, you are ineffective. और इसके साथ साथ हम efficiency की बात करेंगे. Efficiency means with minimum input, you try to get the maximum output. So in our today's discussion, we are going to talk about these three functions of HRD: training and development, organization development, and career management. And of course, we will look at their impact on individual, group, and organizational effectiveness in detail. Now, talking about the competencies of human resource development professionals. Now, these are the competencies of HRD professionals. The first one is called leadership skills. Now, this is really very important, that HRD professionals, they should have the leadership skills. If they do not have the leadership skill, then how they are going to motivate their followers? So what are the major skills of a leader? The most important skill of a leader is he or she should be a strong communicator. So if you are a strong communicator, and if you are able, to facilitate people. Here I remember the definition of leadership given by John Quincy Adams. He says that if somebody wants to know he or she is whether a leader or not, this simple definition can tell you about it. If your actions help others to dream more, think more, do more, you are a true leader. So it means that if you are a wonderful motivator, if you are a mentor, if you are a coach, if you are a facilitator, and you have the strongest communication skills, your verbal and non-verbal communication skills are excellent. These are the major skills of a true leader. And that is one of the major competencies of human resource development professionals. Another competency of HRD professional is called interpersonal skills. Now, interpersonal skills means what? It means that, like when people interact, having a dialogue. So when you have an interaction with your colleagues, with your juniors, with your seniors, also even when you meet with the people from the other organization, so persons having good interpersonal communication skills, they are good in performing their assigned responsibilities more efficiently and effectively. But what happens if you lack interpersonal skills? Of course, you are unable to build that strong bond. There is a saying that, where are the real meanings of words? The real meanings of words are in the relationships. So people having the interpersonal skills, if they are good in it, they are able to develop and strengthen relationship with the other people. And once you do that, once you develop the strong relationship with others, and that is what is required in the organization. Imagine that you develop strong relationship with others. Now, after developing that relationship, आप उनको कोई भी काम कहते हैं, तो what do you think? कि वो आपको टर्न डाउन करेंगे, आपको मायूस करेंगे, क्या अपनी सिंसियर एफर्ट्स वो नहीं करेंगे? 100% they will do their level best. So in order to bring out the best potential of your employees, of your followers, it is really very important that you should try to build relationship with them. And now we talk about the global mindset. Now, what do we mean by a global mindset? It means that you know whatever is going around you, not only within the premises of your organization, but you know as well that your surroundings, like whatever is going on outside the organization, not only in your country, but in the world as well. So people having a global mindset, they are the real HRD professionals. So for example, whenever you develop your goals, whenever you develop your strategies, let us suppose that you do not have a global mindset. तो आप क्या करेंगे? You will only pay attention to the local market if you have a local mindset. So you develop a product, you deliver a service in the market, and then what happens? In a short period of time, your competitors easily beat you who have the global mindset. So these days, there are almost no more monopolies, no more one-man show. So if you go and want to buy like oil, like for example for cooking oil, so you have so many choices. You want to buy a car, there are so many choices. You want to buy a mobile phone, there are so many choices. So if somebody develops a product only with his own idea and do not focus on the others, that is called a closed system organization. So any organization who only focuses on the feedback from within the organization to improve its products and services quality, they are called closed system organization. On the other side, organizations which focus on the outer feedback as well. So organizations who get the feedback not only from the employees, not only from they get the feedback from within the organization, but they also get the feedback from outside the organization as well before making any decisions. So they have a flexible way of making decisions. So people having global mindset, they set the benchmarks in the world, because they know that what are the international standards, because they have a global mindset, and then they do their level best to set the benchmarks, and even they try their level best to beat the existing standards, to beat the existing benchmarks, and develop their own benchmarks in the market, in the world. And that is a wonderful competency of an ideal HRD professional. And finally, another major competency of HRD professional is called he or she acts like a change agent. Now here we are talking about the positive change. Now people having a positive attitude, they are the positive change agents. So यहाँ ये question arise होता है कि जो HRD professionals हैं वो किन areas में change लेके आएंगे. There are in most cases 3 areas. The first most important area in order to achieve organizational effectiveness is called the people. And by people we mean the attitude and behavior of employees. So the most competent HRD professionals, they try to bring positive changes in the attitude and behavior of employees in an organization. And how one can do that? Of course, when you know that why employees work, when you know that how we can motivate them, and when you know that what are the root causes of their problems, so we can provide them financial and non-financial rewards. We can help employees solve their problems. So in this way, we can bring positive changes in their attitude and behavior. And then another change which is required in the organization to achieve effectiveness is called bringing changes in the structure of an organization. Now structure means your rules and regulations. Now organizations which keeps on improving and which keeps on bringing positive changes in their rules and regulations of the organization, keeping in view the changing market, keeping in view the changing customers, keeping in view the changing needs and wants of the target market, they are more successful. And organizations which stick to the same rules and regulations, and they never think of making those rules and regulations as per the ground reality, they become a big failure in the market. And the third area that needs to be changed in an organization with the help of most competent HRD professional is called the technology. Now the technology means that we need to focus on using the most latest technology, most latest equipment in our organization. Now people who do not use new technology, people who use manual methods, like for example, one person is for example making calculations manually or using a calculator. जैसे कि नॉर्मली होता है कि आप कोई चीज़ लाइक आपने काफ़ी सारे नंबर्स लिख रहे हैं, फिर आप उसको कैलकुलेटर से आप उसको काउंट कर रहे हैं, so there is a chance of error. So if you are using new softwares, like for example, very simple example is that you can put the digits, you can put the numbers in your MS Excel application. तो जब आप एक्सेल में उसको नंबर्स को आप लिखते हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल एक रो में या आप उसको कॉलम में लिखते हैं, तो you select the row, you select the column, and then you press only auto sum given in the menu. So most of you know that it will give you the total sum without any error. So overall जब हम देखते हैं competencies of HRD professionals, leadership skills, interpersonal skills, global mindset and change agent, जब हम इन चारों एरियाज को फोकस करते हैं तो we are able to get the most competent HRD professionals in our organization. As we already discussed that in the definition of human resource development, that there are three functions of human resource development called training and development, organizational development, and career management. So let us talk about these three functions of human resource development one by one, and the first function is called training and development. Now training means what? It means improving the knowledge, skills, and attitudes of employees for the short term, particular to a specific job or task. For example, employee orientation. Now, in simple words, when employees learn existing job skill requirements, I repeat, when employees learn existing job skill requirements, they get training. And what are the existing job skill requirements? Improvement in knowledge, Now, how one can improve his or her knowledge? And that is possible with the help of on-the-job and off-the-job training methods. Now, how do you differentiate between on-the-job and off-the-job training methods? On-the-job training method means that within the premises of the organization, you learn. For example, with the help of observation, with the help of your juniors, with the help of your seniors, with the help of your colleagues, you get on-the-job training. You sit with others and you learn. Or even just by observing. Off-the-job training means when you leave the premises of the organization to attend any conference, seminar, or even if you go and get admission in a university or college and get a degree, that is called off-the-job training. And the purposes of on-the-job and off-the-job training is improvement in the knowledge. Now, when people increase their knowledge level, when people increase their awareness level, they get real learning. And then improvement in skills. Of course, people have some skills and sometimes they don't have skills. Like, for example, if you do not know how to drive a car, so if you learn, you can drive a car, so you get a driving skill. For example, this computer is here. If I don't know how to work on it, and somebody teach me the skills, I learn it, so I get the skill of computer literacy. And attitudes. We try to bring positive changes in the attitude of employees for the short term. So training focus is for the short term, and the particular focus is to a specific job or task. So it is short term focus in totality. So when should we provide training? Whenever we have new equipment or software. Like for example, आपके ऑफिस में एक नया इक्विपमेंट आया, एक नया सॉफ्टवेयर आया। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आपने नई मशीन्स मंगवाई हैं, आपने नए कंप्यूटर्स मंगवाए हैं, आपने कुछ नए व्हीकल्स मंगवाए हैं। तो now you don't know how to use those equipment or softwares in the most appropriate manner. So what you need to do is, you need to get training to run that equipment, and you need to get training to install and utilize the software. New task. Job changed. आपकी जॉब चेंज हो जाती है, आपके टास्क और रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज चेंज हो जाती हैं, तो ऑफ कोर्स यू नीड टू गेट ट्रेनिंग टू परफॉर्म योर न्यूली असाइंड टास्क्स. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आपकी जॉब असाइनमेंट में था कि आपने लेक्चर्स देने हैं. आपकी न्यू असाइनमेंट में है कि आपने रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस को देखना है, उनकी इंप्लीमेंटेशन को देखना है. तो पहले अगर आप एकेडमिक्स में काम कर रहे थे तो आपकी डिफरेंट तरह की ट्रेनिंग आपकी हुई या हो रही थी. अब आप जब एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में काम करते हैं तो यू नीड टू गेट ट्रेनिंग ऑफ द एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव फंक्शंस. You need to get knowledge about the rules and regulations of doing business. And that is possible with the help of on-the-job and off-the-job training. Then we talk about new regulations. Change is an ongoing process. So there are new rules and regulations, in the organization. So whenever there are new rules and regulations in the organization, so one needs to get familiar with those new rules and regulations. And how one can do that? It is possible with the help of training. And finally, in order to identify the performance deficiency and overcome that or manage that area. So whenever there is a gap, performance difference or performance deficiency, people, they must be sent for trainings, or they must be given training on the job or off the job training. So how we know that there is a performance deficiency or performance difference or performance gap? Okay, there is one thing called actual performance. The other thing is called desired performance. So when you look at the actual and desired performance, for example, a simple example is, you need to write, like for example, 2 units in 1 week. But if you are able to write only 1 or 1.5 unit of a book in 1 week, there is a deficiency of 1 unit or half unit. Let us suppose that there is a deficiency of half unit. So when you perform that performance gap or performance deficiency analysis, you come up with very serious findings that there are many people in the organization who have that performance gap. So let us suppose that 300 employees are working, and out of those 300, let us suppose that 200 employees have a performance deficiency. So when you look at the 200 employees and when you look at the 1 or half unit, so let us say that there is a deficiency of half unit. So you multiply half unit with 200 and that comes to 100 unit per week. And when you multiply it with 4 weeks, that is 400 units per month. And when you multiply it with the cost, you will be surprised and shocked that it will jump, it will go very high. So in order to minimize that performance gap, or in order to manage that performance gap, or in order to eliminate that performance gap, training is always required. Now let us talk about the development. Preparing for future responsibilities while increasing the capacity to perform at a current job. Now you are preparing for future responsibilities. So in simple words, learning future job skill requirement. कि फ्यूचर में आपकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की जो जॉब स्किल रिक्वायरमेंट होगी उनको इन एडवांस जब आप सीख लेते हैं, दैट इज कॉल्ड डेवलपमेंट, एंड इट इज लॉन्ग टर्म इन नेचर एज कंपेयर टू ट्रेनिंग विच इज शॉर्ट टर्म इन नेचर. So here you are preparing yourself for future responsibilities, and at the same time you are increasing your current performance level on the job. So there are many examples that why you are preparing for future responsibilities. For example, after 1 year, 2 years, 6 months, 3 months, maybe you are going to be promoted as dean of your university, and at present you are working as a associate professor or full professor. So after a certain period of time, there is a bright chance that you will be appointed as dean. So instead you wait and wait and wait, and when you get the dean position, then you prepare yourself for the new responsibilities. Why not you prepare yourself now? So when you prepare yourself in advance for the future responsibilities, that is called development. Now there are different techniques to know that what are the real performance weaknesses or performance deficiencies or performance gaps of your employees. These are the major methods called observation, questionnaires, interviews, and focus groups. Now for doing training need analysis or for doing skill gap analysis, these are the two major techniques. Now observation means that, you observe your colleagues, you observe your juniors, you observe your, employees in the organization, that how they are performing on the job, and then what are the deficiencies. Another method is questionnaires. You give disguised questionnaire to your employees. Now disguised means that name requirement is not there on the questionnaire, or even the signature requirement is not there. So it is normally a disguised questionnaire. So you develop a questionnaire, you give it to your employees, and then they respond in writing. And then they communicate that what are their weak areas. And then interviews. Like for example, you sit with your employees one-on-one, have a one-to-one meeting, table talk. Now interview could be formal or informal. And then we have the focus group technique. That is, you invite a group of people, you sit with them, and then discuss all the problems of the organization. You brainstorm and you come out with certain solutions as well of the identified problems. Somebody asked me that which of these techniques is most recommended. I said all of these techniques are equally important. The only thing is you need to select the technique as per the circumstances, as per the situation of the employees and situation of the organization. One thing. And secondly, one can use more than one method for identifying the performance gap. Now talking further about the performance problems, major causes of performance problems are knowledge or skills. Now this is number one cause of performance problems in organizations. The employee does not know how to perform his responsibilities correctly. Lack of skills, lack of knowledge, or lack of abilities. Now these are the possible root causes. एम्प्लॉई को पता ही नहीं है कि उसने काम कैसे करना है, तो जब पता नहीं है तो डेफिनेटली वो काम कैसे ठीक करेगा, और उसके जो रूट कॉजेज हैं कि उसकी स्किल, नॉलेज और एबिलिटीज जो हैं वो लैक करती हैं. Another very interesting finding regarding causes of performance problems in the organization is motivation or culture. The employee knows how to perform but does so incorrectly. Employee को पता है कैसे काम करना है, लेकिन he or she is not interested to work correctly. उसकी रीजन क्या है कि if there is lack of motivation or if there is unsupportive culture in the organization, if there is no pay for performance, if there are no rewards in the organization for employees, So if there are no rewards and if there is no, motivation is there, if there is lack of motivation, so employees जो है वो जानते बूझते हुए काम नहीं करते. So intentionally they are not performing. क्योंकि उनको पता है कि काम करके भी आपको रिवॉर्ड वही मिलना है जो काम ना करके आपको मिलना है. So that is why I always say one thing, that why do we have equal annual increments in the same grade, keeping in view that there is average performance of employees and good performance of employees and very good and excellent performance of employees. So when the level of performance varies from person to person in the same grade, why do we have equal annual increment? आप दे रहे हैं. Process. The problem is not employee related, but is caused by working conditions, etc. कि like for example working conditions जो हैं वो orders create कर रही हैं. For example, no proper cooling or heating, no comfortable environment, leg pulling वगैरह वगैरह. Resources, lack of resources, 4 types. And I believe that all of you know already that what are those 4 types. Human resource, financial resource, physical resource, and information resource. Now deal with problems promptly, otherwise the poor performers can reasonably assume their performance is acceptable. Now one has to deal with problems promptly, and it is the major responsibility of a good leader to deal with all those problems discussed in previous slides at the earliest. Otherwise poor performance ये समझेंगे कि उनकी जो performance है वो बिल्कुल ठीक है. जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल एक पर्सन ऑफिस में काम कर रहा है कई सालों से और आप उसको कभी भी गाइड नहीं करते, आप उसको इंस्ट्रक्शंस नहीं दे रहे कि उसकी परफॉर्मेंस में कोई प्रॉब्लम है, तो चंद साल के बाद वो एम्प्लॉय तो यही समझेगा कि उसकी परफॉर्मेंस एक्सीलेंट है. Other employees may become demotivated and stressed. Now other means the best employees or good employees, वो demotivated हो जाएंगे, high stress में चले जाएंगे, क्योंकि वो ये देखेंगे कि when there is no pay for performance system, when everybody is getting the equal financial and non-financial reward irrespective of their performance level, तो of course जो best employees हैं there are more chances कि वो demotivated हो जाएं, high stress में चले जाएं. The problem behavior will become a habit. Habit बनने के chances हैं problem behavior, क्योंकि अगर आप शुरू में ही चीज़ों को control न कर लें तो वो आपकी आदतों में convert हो जाती हैं, और जब बुरी आदतों को फिर ख़त्म करना ज़्यादा मुश्किल है. A precedent may be set if you do not address the problems promptly. तो एक प्रेसिडेंट सेट हो जाएगा, एक एग्जाम्पल, एक बुरी एग्जाम्पल सेट हो जाएगी. योर क्रेडिबिलिटी मे बी डैमेज्ड. ऑफ कोर्स आपकी जो क्रेडिबिलिटी है, आपका जो नाम है, आपकी जो गुडविल है, आपकी जो रिप्यूट है एज ए गुड लीडर, वो डैमेज हो सकती है. Now let us talk about the various principles to deliver trainings effectively. And the first thing is the learning specialist. A learning specialist must know the program, lesson, subject or skill to be taught. Now this is really very important that किसी भी training के अंदर trainer is really the most important person. आपकी हर चीज ठीक है, everything is excellent, your venue, your content, your multimedia, your audience, the trainees, the environment, the facilities, everything is wonderful. But if there is any problem with the learning specialist, or if there is any problem with the trainer, then what happens? Because everything depends on the trainer. So it is the major responsibility of the leader to select a trainer for any training program who is the most competent person in the market having a strongest grip on lesson, subject or skill to be taught, and having the most wonderful communication skills. Principle number 2 is called the learner or the trainee. A learner must attend with interest to the program, lesson or subject. So it is not only the responsibility of the trainer, it is also the responsibility of the learner to have interest in the program, lesson or subject. क्योंकि ताली दोनों हाथों से बजती है. मैं कुछ भी कर लूं, if you are not interested, तो फिर क्या होगा? So of course, your interest is equally important in the program and in this case, in the studies. Principle number 3 is the language. The language used as a medium between the learning specialist and the learner must be common to both. ट्रेनर ट्रेनी के दरमियान जो लैंग्वेज यूज हो रही है, जो आपका स्पेशलिस्ट है, ट्रेनर है, और जो लर्नर है, उसके दरमियान जो लैंग्वेज यूज हो रही है, दैट मस्ट बी कॉमन. लेकिन अगर ट्रेनर और ट्रेनी एक दूसरे की जबान को अच्छी तरह प्रॉपरली फुल्ली अंडरस्टैंड नहीं कर रहे, तो व्हाट विल हैपन? देयर विल बी अ ह्यूज डिक्लाइन ऑफ द प्रोग्राम. ऑल रिसोर्सेज विल गो इन वेस्ट. Principle number 4 is the lesson. The information or skill to be mastered must be explained, meaning that the trainer must give as many examples as possible. और ख़ास तौर पे यहाँ पे मैं एडवाइस करना चाहूँगा ट्रेनर्स को कि try to give examples from Pakistan more. बजाय ये कि सारी examples आप फॉरेन बुक से उठा के दे रहे हैं जो कि उनके कल्चर, उनके बैकग्राउंड के मुताबिक हैं, तो बेहतर यह है कि कोशिश ये करें कि ज्यादा जो एग्जाम्पल्स हैं आप अपने मुल्क से दें, अपने इलाके से दें, लोकल एग्जाम्पल्स दें, नेशनल लेवल की एग्जाम्पल्स दें, ताकि लोगों का इंटरेस्ट हो, ट्रेनीज का इंटरेस्ट हो. तो जब आप एग्जाम्पल्स देंगे तो देयर इज मोर लर्निंग. जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल हमको कोई डेफिनेशन बताई जाती है या कोई कॉन्सेप्ट बताया जाता है, तो उसको अंडरस्टैंड हम जल्दी तब कर लेते हैं जब उसको किसी एग्जाम्पल के साथ हमें समझाया जाए. So same is the case here. Give as many examples as possible, local, national, and from international level. Now, principle number 5 is the learning process. The learning process must motivate learners. Now, how one can do that? I normally use icebreakers. ना आइस कहते हैं बर्फ को और ब्रेकर तोड़ना. तो बर्फ हैं जो लर्नर्स हैं, जो ट्रेनीज हैं. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल अक्सर आपने देखा होगा कि ट्रेनिंग सेशंस हो रहे हैं और एक साहब लेक्चर दे रहे हैं या लेक्चर दे रही हैं और बाकी सब सोए हुए हैं, या कोई एसएमएस कर रहा है, कोई छुप के कॉल कर रहा है, कोई अपना काम कर रहा है, कोई लैपटॉप लेके आया हुआ है, उसने वाईफाई लगाया हुआ है, एंड देन वर्किंग ऑन सम अदर एक्टिविटी. So the most important thing is that you have to grip the minds of the learners as a trainer. So how one can do that? So I use icebreakers and I use different techniques. I ask them questions from daily life. And I ensure in my training sessions that there is 100% participation from all learners. So when people participate more, they learn more, they become more critical thinkers, and they become more competent, more efficient, and more effective if they participate. And people who participate less or people who do not participate, उनके लिए एक बात मैं कहना चाहूँगा. You are not only responsible for what you say, you are also responsible for what you do not say. इस चीज को हमेशा याद रखें. एंड फाइनली प्रिंसिपल नंबर 6 इज रिव्यू एंड एप्लीकेशन. द एविडेंस ऑफ इंडिविजुअल डेवलपमेंट मस्ट बी रिफ्लेक्टेड थ्रू अ रिव्यूइंग, रीथिंकिंग, रिप्रोडक्शन and applying of material, information or skill that has been communicated. So a follow-up and review and application is a must. If you do not have a follow-up, if you do not review it, if you do not get the feedback, and if you do not apply what you learn, what is the benefit of getting training, or what is the benefit of giving training? So, in order to utilize our resources in the right direction, we need to focus more on review and application. We should ensure that we deliver the right training programs, we get the feedback, and we improve the designing of our training programs on an ongoing basis. And we should also do the follow-up. Now let us look at some of the training and development events. Now people get trainings like this as well. Like for example, round tables. Now these are the groups of people sitting and discussing. So different topics, या एक ही topic दे दिया जाता है मुख्तलिफ groups को, and they sit in small groups in round table. So everybody can have equal observation and have a look at each other from like all sides. So this is a good way in most of the training sessions. And we have like classroom trainings like this, using computers, whiteboard, classroom discussions, internet, things like that. And then people learn through, doing that brainstorming thing. These learners, these trainees are preparing, a chart, flip chart. So they are writing, they do the brainstorming, and then they write the main points on the flip chart, and then they present in front of other trainees and learners and trainers. So we see trainings like this, some outside place. So no problem if there is a constraint of resources. We can always train people. We can always develop people. So even there's like these methods can also be used, and then outside, learning. So for successful training and development, one can use variety of training methods, like for example, presentation methods, case study methods, lecture methods, role plays, simulation exercises. Then feedback is really very important for successful training and development, because if you are not getting the feedback from the learners, how you are going to improve the training program, and how you know that whether you have delivered the program efficiently or effectively, or whether it has no effect at all. Employee confidentiality. Now this is really very important, that employee privacy should be there. If any employee tells you his or her weaknesses, do not advertise it. And of course, support of top management is a prerequisite, because if you do not have the support of top management, how you are going to get the approval for resources, and how you are going to implement the various decisions. Tie training content to work. अक्सर ट्रेनिंग्स में देखा गया कि ट्रेनिंग कंटेंट को काम के साथ टाई नहीं किया जाता. सो दिस इज रियली वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि डिजाइनिंग फेज में ही आप जो कंटेंट है ट्रेनिंग का, उसको जो ट्रेनीज आपके आ रहे हैं उनके काम के साथ आप उसको लिंक करके लेके चलेंगे. एंड इंक्लूड all trainees, learners. So participation is mandatory. Now talking about the organization development is a complex strategy intended to change the attitudes, values and structure of organizations so that they can better adapt to new technologies, markets and challenges, according to Warren Bennis. Now let us talk about the organization process model. Step 1 is get the managerial commitment to change. Step 2 is broad problem identification, and then after identifying the broad problem, you identify the specific problem, then you collect the data, and then after collecting data, you do the data analysis with the help of different softwares available in the market, and then you develop your change strategies based on the data analysis, and then you implement it. And then finally you have the overall evaluation. So if the result says that you are able to achieve your goals and objectives, you keep on doing the same process and do the expansion of the process, this organization development process. But in case if the evaluation says that you are unable to achieve the desired goals and objectives, you go back to step number 1 and start again. Now talking about the career development, ongoing process by which individuals progress through series of changes. And when we talk about careers, so when we talk about careers, we talk about traditional careers and we talk about routine careers. Now traditional career means that, like for example, we have number of years. Like for example, after a certain number of years, after getting a certain experience level, you get the promotion in the public sector of Pakistan. But these days in the world, we use the routine careers. Now routine careers means frequently changing based on changes in the person and changes in the work environment. आपका कस्टमर जो है पहले से ज़्यादा वेल अवेयर हो रहा है, आपकी सर्वाइवल ऑफ द फिटेस्ट है इस वक्त मार्केट में. So there are changing needs and wants of the customer. So there is height of competition, survival of the fittest. So जैसे जैसे आपकी मार्केट में सिचुएशन टफ हो रही है, जैसे जैसे आपका कस्टमर जो है उसकी नीड वांट्स जो है वो ज़्यादा स्पेसिफिक होती जा रही हैं, तो यू नीड टू चेंज योर सेल्फ एज वेल. और जो लोग मार्केट के साथ अपने आप को चेंज करते हैं, दे गेट द प्रमोशंस in the organization, and that is called routine career. Let us talk about the career management challenges. A major challenge is how to balance advancing current employees' careers with simultaneously attracting and acquiring employees with new skills. तो आप अपने existing employees को focus करेंगे promotion के लिए, या you will consider hiring employees from outside the organization? Now this is a big challenge being faced not only in Pakistan but abroad as well. So I believe that there should be an alignment. So give preference to your employees who are already working in the organization, because in order to become they become loyal, in order to retain your employees, in order to make your employees loyal with the organization, so you give importance to your employees as well, and at the same time you need to get fresh blood from the market, you need to get fresh people from the market. So when new people come in the organization, they come with new ideas, creativity and innovation. So we need to have a balance, alignment, like for example it could be 50-50%. So there are so many other challenges. And finally we talk about the leader challenges. Communication barriers are there in the organization, and this is one of the biggest problem area in the world these days, and this is one of the major challenges to leaders in the world. Workforce demographics. So we have a highly diversified workforce. We have male, females from different cultures, different religions, different areas, different cultures, different thinking styles, working in the same organization. So managing a highly diversified workforce is a big challenge to leaders these days. And global economy, as we already talked about the global mindset as one of the prerequisites for competent HRD professionals. And social responsibility. Now the customer gives more weightage, more value to those organizations who are more socially responsible. Now the rating agencies rate organizations on the criteria like the best place to work, things like that. Thank you very much all of you. Inshallah, see you all in the next lecture. Khuda Hafiz.